Okay, so the test is 10 questions that you're going to answer. The 11th question is you're going to upload your work just like before. For the 10 questions that you're actually going to either calculate a surface area, total area, or volume, those are worth 9 points each. Your work is worth 10 points. You can use a formula sheet or your notes. You can use your calculator. So if you want to use this reference sheet that I've given you to fill in, you can use this. I don't care what you use. If you want to draw pictures, say for example, of the prisms next to it, and then put the formula next to it. So remember, we have square pyramids, prisms, which are cubes. We also have rectangular prisms. We have triangular prisms. So whatever you want to have ready for yourself, I would have my notes organized. Now, there's probably 6 different files of notes that cover this test because, or 4, I'm not sure, but I don't know how we broke it down. I know there was 11.6, 11.7, and then those were the volume formulas lessons, and then we also had all the surface areas. So again, what you need to do is just have all of your formula sheets ready to go. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the first question, and I'm going to zoom into each one. Now on the test is not all multiple choice. Part of the test is free response. So for example, if the first question was that free response question, the instructions are going to say, enter only the numeric part of the question. So what that means is don't put units. So for example, if number 1 was not a multiple choice question, then what you would put in the box is just going to be 236. You don't need to worry about putting feet squared into those free response questions. Pretty good on that? All right, so the first one, that asks you to find total area. So again, remember total area is the same thing as surface area. They mean the same thing. So that formula was 2 times the base area plus perimeter times height. Everybody good on that? All right.
Miss Corey?
Yes.
If you have a question like that, where would you know to put the dimensions? Because I put the dimensions in a different place, but I still got the right answer. It says 8, 6, and 5, but like I don't know which order, like on the prism, to actually put that.
You mean, oh, okay. All right. So for this one, for the rectangular prism, it didn't matter where you put the 8, 6, and 5. Okay, so you could have put the 8 over here and the 6 here. It doesn't matter. This is the only one where you can choose which dimensions are your base.
Okay.
Okay, so because of that, if you put your 6, 8, and 5 in different spots, then your base area would have been different in your answer, and so would have been your perimeter. However, the total area final answer should have been 236.
Okay.
Everybody good on that? That was a good question. All right. So then the next one, this is a square pyramid. Now this one, the 8 was the edge of that square base, and then the 10 is the height of the pyramid. Now, for this one, for total area, we need slant height. We need the L. So for this one, we needed to do Pythagorean theorem. So just keep in mind that you're going to need to do Pythagorean theorem or know your triples in order to maybe find a height or a slant height. So just be aware on that. So for this one, they gave us the height, so we had to find the slant height. because the formula for total area or surface area of a pyramid is the base area plus the lateral area, which is 1/2 perimeter times slant height. Now, if it said to leave it in simplest radical form, this is your answer. However, if the question said round to the 10th place, then you would have actually figured out what the square root of 29 was. Multiply that to the 32 and then add 64. So just read the instructions on how I want the answers left. For number 3, now these are the tricky ones where notice my base is a triangle. Remember, the name of the prism is the name of the base. So my base shape is a triangle. It's not the rectangle that it's sitting on. So whenever you have a prism, you're looking for either the name that's provided or the shape that you have 2 of. So I have 2 triangles here and 3 rectangles. So my base is a triangle. So the formula for area of the base is 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2, which is what was calculated here. And then the perimeter of this base shape, I needed to do Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse of the blue triangle, because I needed to calculate perimeter. Now, if you realize that a 7, 24, 25 is a triple, then you didn't need to do 7 squared plus 24 squared to get that hypotenuse, which was the 25. So be aware that you're going to be using Pythagorean theorem, but if you know your triples, it does save time. Pretty good on that.
Ms. Corey, I have a question. How many free responses do we have?
I didn't count them. It just know that they're mixed together. I don't know how many of each, and I don't know if they're all volume or they're all surface areas. I'm sure it's mixed.
And for
So
number 2, what happens if you don't simplify the radical?
I don't know if that would be a free response. I don't think any of the free response have radicals because that would be too hard to type. So I'm thinking any of the ones that have radicals will probably be multiple choice. Does that make sense? Because you're going to be typing in the answers because it's on Canvas, so I don't think any of the free response have radicals. Just too hard to type. All right.
Marty, for number 3, wouldn't you put the 1680 over 2 because that's the area of a triangle?
1680 over 2. This is the 1680 comes from the perimeter, which the 56 is the perimeter, and the 30 over here, this is the height of the prism. So this 1680 is pH.
All right.
Everybody good on that one?
Yeah, I felt it was like the area of the triangle.
The area was 84. So the 2 times 84, so the 168 was the area.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next one, surface area of the prism. Again, and again, surface area, this is the same question as number 3. Surface area and total area mean the same thing. So we're doing exactly the same thing, but this time they gave us all of the sides. We didn't have to do Pythagorean theorem. So again, your base shape is this triangle. Again, it's not sitting on its base. So here, to find the area of the triangle base, I'm going to do BH divided by 2. My base is 6. My height was 4. Divide by 2. My base area is 12, which is what was calculated here. Perimeter, you're just going to add 5 plus 5 plus 6, and you get 16. And then now put it into this formula, which is over here. So this might be a question that you would get for a free response. Again, you would only key in 200. You don't need to worry about the centimeters squared on the free response. Only put in the numeric part. And it clearly states that on the question. Next one is a cone.
Miss Corey,
Yes,
so surface area is the same thing as total area?
correct.
Okay.
All right, so number 5, surface area of a cone, or questions could say total area. This one is pi r squared, which is the area of the base, plus the lateral area, which is pi rl. Now, notice this height is h. I need L for my formula. So I need to pull out this triangle and either realize I've got a triple going on or I have to do Pythagorean theorem. So the slant height is 10 because if I pull out the triangle, the radius was 8, the height was 6. I'm looking for the slant height, which is my c squared. So 6 squared plus 8 squared equals L squared. 36 plus 64, 100. Square root it, and your slant height is 10. But if you realize that the 6, 8, 10 is just a scaled up 3, 4, 5, it saves time. Now, if the question said to round to the hundreds place or tenths place, then on your calculator here, you would do 144 times pi and then round it. So just again, read the directions. The cone's surface area and the cylinders are nice. It's just a formula. Maybe the hardest part for the cones is you may have to do Pythagorean theorem. All right, now the next one is surface area of a cylinder, or again, think of it as total area. When we have a cylinder, we have a circle top and a circle bottom. So that's the 2 pi r squared. And then you have the lateral area, which is the 2 pi r height. This one, everything was given to me. I was given the radius, which was 6, and the height, which was 4. So here's my radius, here's my height, and again, it said to leave it in terms of pi. Good on that one? All right, next. So, here is a triangular prism again. So again, the hardest thing is most of the time when you're given these triangular prisms, it's not sitting on its base. Remember, for volume of any prism, it's the area of the base, this capital B, times how tall it is. So my base is a triangle, so 1/2 base times height, and the 20 is the height of the prism. And then I'll use that over here after I calculate the base area. The next one is the volume of this square pyramid prism. So again, you could have chosen whatever base you want on this one. Basically, if you recall from middle school, volume of a rectangular prism is just length times width times height. Pretty good so far? All right. So again, this could be a free response question, and all you would key in the box is 686. Next one, volume of a cylinder. So here, the formula for volume, again, for a cylinder is capital B times H. However, this time, your capital B is a circle when it's a cylinder. So that's where the pi r squared comes in, and then you multiply it by how tall the cylinder is. And that's 1,600 pi. Number 10, it's a cone. Now, whenever you have a cone or a pyramid, we're sort of shaving part of the cylinder off when it's a cone or taking off part of it when it's a pyramid. So formula for the cone is the same as the cylinder, except for you add in the 1/3, because we're taking off part of it. So if I were to draw a cylinder and then put a cone inside, realize that this 1/3 of the cylinder is coming off. So that's how it's tied to the cylinder formula. So here they gave us the slant height, but for volume, you remember, we need the H. So this is why you had to pull out a triangle here, and again, you have a triple. So this is the 5, 12, 13, and then from there, you can figure out what you need. So remember that you may not be given the correct height or slant height. So just keep that in mind. You may have to do a Pythagorean theorem here. Pretty good on that. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now it's a pyramid. So again, remember volume of the prisms was BH, but pyramids and cones, we add in the 1/3 in front of that BH. So my base is a rectangle, so 5 times 4, and then multiply it by how tall it is, and then either multiply it by 1/3 or divide by 3. And then number 11, this one's a complex solid. So notice this top piece, this looks like half of a cylinder. So I'm gonna find the volume of a cylinder and then divide it by 2. And then I'm gonna find the volume of this cube and then add the 2 volumes. Now, if it said to leave it in terms of pi, we would leave it like this. However, the instruction said round to the nearest 10th place. So this is where you're gonna multiply 8 times pi and then add 64. And then round it, and you get 89.1. Anybody need me to go back to anything in the review? Okay. Okay, so just to recap, have your formula sheet easily accessible. Again, it's not all multiple choice questions this time. It's free response and multiple choice. You still need to upload your work. If you struggle with uploading your work, make sure you email it to me as soon as you finish the quiz. You'll have the entire class period for the quiz. On Thursday, when you arrive to take this quiz, I'm probably gonna start the meeting like 5 minutes early, just to start admitting people into the Zoom call. So that way, right at 8 o'clock, we can start the test. Now, if for some reason you oversleep or you miss the test, then what'll happen is I'll have to reschedule a makeup for you in the afternoon on another day, and we'll do it one-on-one in a Zoom call. So just make sure your alarms are set for Thursday and you're ready and available to take this quiz. You have everything ready to go. Make sure your calculator that you're going to use is charged or has good batteries, and you're ready for the test. We still have a few more lessons. We still have surface area and volume of spheres that we're going to be covering, but it's not on the test. Any questions on the review or any expectations? So again, 10 questions, not all multiple choice this time, and then each question is worth 9 points, no partial credit, and then 10 points only for your work this time. Anybody need me to go back to anything, or anybody have any questions? All right, so you do not have homework Your homework is to study for the test and get all of your materials ready to go. My advice to you is practice. Maybe one other thing that you may want to do is have down on a piece of paper or in a notability file maybe some common triples. If you don't want to have to do Pythagorean theorem, maybe to find a missing height or a slant height. Keep in mind for the cones and the pyramids, you're probably going to have to do Pythagorean theorem or know a triple. And just be careful and read the directions and how I want the answers left.
Miss Corey,
Yes.
are there any extra reviews that like are in the modules or?
So in the module, there is a extra review sheet. I don't know if you've already done that one. Is that it on the review? Yes. Let me just go here.